so I have my wrap up today. I'm gonna try to get through this really quick because I read 6 books and 6 graphic novels, so I'm gonna start with the books. The first book I read was Gathering Blue by Lois Lowry, and yeah, I didn't like this. I thought I would because I remember really enjoying it when I was in middle school or elementary school. Obviously, it's been over 10 years since I've read this, and just not that much happened, and yeah, I'm obviously going to be reading The Messenger next, and then Sun. I've just been reading these to kind of prepare myself for the Sun because I don't know what to expect because I've never read that one before. So I'm just glad this is over with, and if it wasn't in a beautiful edition and part of my box set, I would totally donate this one. So I gave this a 2.5 stars, like, don't pick this up. So after that, I read Impulse, and I don't have it with me right now because I let my friend borrow it, and I bought this one maybe 3 years ago. Yay, I finally got to it, so I'm happy for that, but I probably will be donating this one. But anyways, I buddy read this with Kristina, and she really enjoyed it. She gave it 5 stars, so I'll link her channel below. But she talks about it in her wrap up too. She really enjoyed it, and she said it was very realistic and everything. So I kind of had a different opinion. I gave it 3 stars because it wasn't really memorable. Like, I couldn't really tell you what it was about right now. I could tell you there was a death, but that's about it. I couldn't really tell you what it was about. And it was my least favorite out of Ellen Hopkins' books so far that I've read. And then I read The Downside of Being Charlie by Joni Torres Sanchez. And I got this from a giveaway like 3 years ago. I finally got to this one too, so I think I'm doing really good with my TBR because I'm reading books that I've had for years and I'm reading them, so that's good. But this one is about this boy, and he's not really popular. He's made fun of because he's overweight, but then his dad makes him go to this fat camp and he loses all this weight, and he thinks like, wow, like, I think things are really gonna change for me. So he goes back to school thinking like, he thinks like everything's just gonna be different for him, like people aren't gonna make fun of him and call him names and everything, but life is pretty much still the same for him, except he has this huge crush on this girl. So yeah, if you liked Winger maybe or something like that, then I think you would enjoy this, except this doesn't dive into that much into the romance aspect of it. So I think that's why I like this one, because it was more about him. The fact that there were characters that you don't normally find in YA, so that was nice. I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 stars, I think. And then we're moving on to my favorites of the month, and the first one is Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I included this one in the next book that I'm about to show in my June favorites, and I will link that video below if you haven't seen it yet, where I list all my favorites besides books, like movies, beauty products, and all that. And yeah, this one was really fun, like a one-day read, and it's about this girl. She meets this guy, and they've only been dating for a couple of months, I think 6-ish months, and then they elope and they get married. They've only been married for a week, and in the first chapter you find out that her husband dies like after a week of being married. It's not a spoiler since it's in the beginning of the book, but yeah, you just kind of find out what it's like for her after her husband dies and what she has to go through, and meeting his mom, her mother-in-law that they've never met. She has no idea who this girl is that married her son. So I just thought it was really fun, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars, and I would definitely recommend picking this up. And then I read After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She is seriously one of my favorites right now because they're just really quick summary reads. Like, I'm not much of an analytical like reader where I'm like analyzing and just really reading into the text and stuff. I'm more of a reader that reads to find out what the heck is going to happen in the end, or what the resolution or conclusion is going to be to the book. I guess I read more for pleasure, so if you are like me, then you're gonna love these books. So this one is about this couple. They are college sweethearts, so they've been married for like 10 years. They're in their 30s now. They're having trouble in their marriage. They're not agreeing on things. they're always arguing, yelling at each other, and they just hate being around each other, and they decide not to get a divorce, but let's just take a break from each other for a year and not contact each other at all through text, calls, anything, and see what happens. So they do that and you find out what happens. And this is also a one-day read, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read Pretty Deadly by Decanic, Rios, Bilar, and Coles, and this is volume 1. And I just grabbed this at the library because the illustrations really drew me in. So I'll show you some illustrations, and aren't they awesome? But the story unfortunately did not live up to the illustrations, which seems to be the case lately for a lot of graphic novels that I read. And the story was just all over the place, I thought, and kind of confusing and didn't give enough background. I don't know, and I'm not going to be continuing with this, and I gave it 3 stars only because I like the illustrations. So really it was a 2 stars for me. And then I read another one that didn't live up to the illustrations, and it's Snapshot by Andy Diggle and Jock. And this is about a man who finds a cell phone, and then there's all these images of this murder on the cell phone, so he's trying to find out what's going on with that. And I don't know, like the bubbles and what the character, like their dialogue was just not good to me. But I really enjoyed the illustrations. Let me find one. Like, I don't know, kind of like a classic black and white. I don't know if you can see that, but I really, really enjoyed them. So I ended up giving this a 3 stars, and if it wasn't for the illustrations, it'd be a 2 stars. Then I read Saga Volume 4, which you guys know all about, so I won't say much about that, and I ended up giving that 4 stars. And then I picked up The Wicked and the Divine. The illustrations were awesome, but again, the storyline and the plot just did not live up to the illustrations. Like, I thought the storyline was kind of like messy to me, and I don't know, I just didn't like it, and I couldn't even explain to you what it was really about right now. So I ended up giving this a 3 stars, I think, a 3.5, because if it wasn't for the illustrations, again, it would be like a 2.5 for me. So, and then I read Miss Marvel, and you guys have seen that too around, and even though a lot of people have been giving it 5 stars because there's a diverse main character and everything, I kind of feel a little bit different. Just because there's a diverse character in a book doesn't mean that it's a 5-star to me, because, oh, diverse characters are never included in books or graphic novels or comics. No, to me, like, it's more than that. So I really, really agree with Sana's review that I saw on Goodreads, and I will link her channel below. She is Ink Bones Books here on BookTube, and I agree with her. I think it was a stereotypical depiction of Muslims in general, because I have a diverse group of friends. So I have friends who are Muslim, and I've been in their home and stuff, and it's just not like that. I feel like Miss Marvel makes you think that these stereotypical Muslim characters are like this, but really they're not. Like, the parents in Miss Marvel, like, and then her sneaking out and stuff, like, not all parents are like that, and not all Muslim families are like that. So I really don't like how they depicted the Muslim characters, so I ended up giving this a 3.5. I don't know if I'll be continuing, because to me it's like someone putting a Hispanic character, because I'm Hispanic, in a graphic novel, comic, or book, and them just putting stereotypical things that the author thinks that Hispanics are like, no, not all Hispanics are Mexican, first of all, which I always see. So yeah, yeah. So then I read Manifest Destiny Volume 1, and this was probably my favorite graphic novel of the month. And I didn't think it would be, and I didn't think I would like the illustrations, but let me just show you. Like, look at that. Isn't that awesome? That is awesome. And the back is just so pretty. So This one is about these guys, Lewis and Clark. They go to explore the uncharted American frontier, and they just encounter things that you wouldn't normally encounter in real life. And yeah, like all these creatures, and I don't want to give away like what kind of things they encounter, but I really enjoyed this one, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and hopefully they have volume 2 at my library. And then I read Until You're Mine by Samantha Hayes. This I bought like 2 or 3 years ago too, and I really needed to get to it, and finally I picked a challenge out of my TBR jar and picked this one. What I had originally thought it would be like, it wasn't like. I'll link my last TBR video below if you didn't get a chance to see that from last month, but it was nothing like I had explained it previously. It's about this girl. She becomes the nanny for the family, and she just seems like a little bit off. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to give anything away. It's not what you think it's gonna be, and there's a twist and stuff. And I ended up giving this a 3.5. So I think this would definitely be a fun read for the summertime, and if you're looking for a suspense thriller. So that was all I read, and look out for my July TBR, because I do have some stuff planned that I want to read. Let me know if you've read any of these or what you think, or if you agree with me. But yeah, just let's talk in the comments below. Okay, bye.